As we approach the historic milestone of Amrit Kal, it becomes crucial to explore the changing dynamics of rural India. We should find ways to balance what people need with what's good for the environment, all while considering the entire demographic spectrum to ensure inclusivity for all. The India at 100 series endeavours to confront the challenges of rural instability and discuss viable solutions to address this emerging problem. Presented by DCM Shriram Foundation, with knowledge partner the Indian School of Development Management, the show will address how traditional measures of income poverty fall short, failing to capture the multidimensional aspects of well-being, from health and sanitation to education as well as social inclusion.
Changing dynamics of rural India bring both challenges and opportunities for development. More women and elderly people are now working in farming, while young men are moving to cities for jobs. This means the rural economy needs to adapt and find new ways to grow. Rural life is difficult because of poor markets, fewer job opportunities, and worsening soil quality. These problems widen the gap between rural and urban areas. Another problem is migration to urban areas. A recent report found that a lot of women had to leave rural areas for cities because they were not earning enough, had debts, or were struggling with farming. Let's understand from the experts on why there is an urgent need to actively tackle this issue.
A big hello and welcome back to India at 100. My name is Gaurav Shah and I'm a co-founder at the Indian School of Development Management. Today on this episode, we'll be talking about the importance of rural development to bring about a more inclusive India. And to shed more light on this topic, we have with us Dr. Nivedita Narain, CEO, Charities Aid Foundation. Welcome to ISDM, Nivedita.
Thanks so much, Gaurav. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Nivedita, why do we need to focus on rural development to build a more inclusive India?
India is becoming more urbanized, but yet 70% of the population will continues to live in the rural areas. And going by present trends, by 2030, we should expect about 60% to continue living in the rural areas. And nearly half of the Indians will be dependent on agriculture for their livelihoods. And the rural-urban transition is actually not binary. So what we have, most of those who move to urban India have a foot in rural India. So rural development, therefore, is very important and a strategy to make the villages livable, a place where people want to live, choose to live.
So what are your thoughts on the trends in migration and the ramifications it has on the work that we are doing in rural development?
Well, we've been pushed back by the pandemic, and that has been a fragility multiplier. And if we were not to address these 5 areas, I do not think we'll meet our rural development agenda. Number 1, health and nutrition for children, women and men. Number 2 is economic security. The third, I would say, is freedom from violence for women in particular, also for vulnerable groups. The fourth is access to quality education, services and infrastructure. And the last is availability of water, sanitation and quality air. All this needs to be done keeping the climate change environment in mind. So climate risk mitigation, adaptation and also clean energy and green transitions. If we can do this and focus on the role of civil society together with governments and corporates and the private sector, I believe things will really be different.
Nivedita, you've talked about various factors which are really important. But are these factors the one which are going to create aspiration for rural living? Or is there something beyond these factors which will really end up creating that aspiration?
From my experience and also the research I've been doing and the experience I think of the sector, it would be fair to say that people, the desire to be in your home place and to be rooted is very clear. And post-pandemic, there is no doubt about it. So the problem is the push, the lack of facilities. There are people who might want to go to the cities, but the quality of life there and the notion that people have, a twinkle in their eye when they go to the city, I think that that's a little bit Dick Whittington-ish.
What is your vision for life in rural India for India at 100? And should reverse migration start happening from urban to rural areas as it has started happening in some other developed countries?
I mean, my vision, it's a humble vision, is that a village will be more livable, will be a place where people want to live, perhaps even a back to the village imagery like Gandhiji had in Young India that he wrote about. I think it's evergreen. And with distress migration low, where people choose to live to meet their needs and aspirations in their homes and go out when they want to. And I'm clear, however, that the village needs to be a space where all creeds, ethnicities, all castes live with justice and harmony. And the social fabric be such where women and girls have equitable distribution of resources and access to support. If we could do that, I would be, I think it would be amazing, because then people would get what they wanted.
Lovely. And should reverse migration start happening?
I think that reverse migration is already a reality, and then people are being pushed to go back. The pandemic has shown that to us. There's data to show that the number of migrants that were counted state by state are less than the number of people who came back, the migrant workers. But we were not able to keep them there. We have actually failed to meet their needs and aspirations. So reverse migration is a current trend, but they're being pushed back because there is no opportunity being created.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Nivedita. Thank you for your thoughts, thank you for your insights, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, Gaurav.
Let's learn more about some work which is happening in this area on the ground.
One Stage, registered as Charities Aid Foundation India, partners with governments and businesses to improve the lives of underprivileged people of Jharkhand through the creation of sustainable economic opportunities that improve quality of life for youth between 15 to 29. With their initiatives, by extending support services towards SHG group training and support on livelihood farm, non-farm and individual women entrepreneurship activities focusing on women. They focus on creating self-employment opportunities for rural communities through microfinancing, entrepreneurship support and training for diverse business opportunities. Foster entrepreneurship and financial independence through initiatives like Kheti Net House, which utilizes innovative agricultural techniques and provides women with smart farming training, enabling them to boost productivity up to 5 to 8 times compared to traditional methods, ultimately enhancing their income.
जब मेरा शादी हुआ ना तो मैं घर में ही काम करती थी और कहीं नहीं जाती थी। जब धीरे धीरे रहते हुए पता चला तो फिर हम लोग जाके समूह में जुड़े और 10-10 रुपया का मतलब साप्ताहिक रखने लगे। TRF द्वारा सीमा दीदी आई, वो भी बताई, मतलब चूजा के बारे में भी बताई। फिर हम लोग जाके चूजा लिए, चूजा लेके उसके बाद उसको पालन किए, पालन करके बाद उसके मतलब कुछ बेचे भी, कुछ रखे। मतलब हम लोग धीरे धीरे आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश करेंगे, बढ़ते रहेंगे ताकि बाल बच्चा का भी भविष्य भी बन जाए और घर का भी खर्चा भी हो जाए।
Over the last 2 decades, One Stage has positively impacted the lives of people across the country.
Despite continued migration from rural to urban India, it is clear that this migration is not binary, with a significant number of people continuing to keep a leg in rural India. Driving a commonly accepted vision focused on providing the fundamental building blocks of a dignified and aspirational life for rural India is critical to the nation's aspirations of becoming a world leader. Collaborative partnerships across various segments of society, built on human values like fairness, equity, and dignity, will be foundational to solving this problem.